Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got a really fascinating set of sources, all centered around a fashion brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, a brand called BKLEO Clothing. And they make this, well, pretty extraordinary claim.
They do. The claim is that their clothes are actually tools for personal transformation.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. We're diving deep into BKLEO today. Our mission here is to figure out if they're really, marrying fashion with personal growth effectively, or is this maybe just really clever marketing? I mean, can the clothes you put on genuinely help you transform, help you become the person you're aiming to be?
Well, what's really interesting, I think, is the philosophy behind it. It seems quite core to what they do. The founder, Brooke, apparently started this based on a personal experience, a personal journey of growth, challenges, and recognized that maybe physical things, especially clothes you wear every day, could be like a tangible reminder, a reminder of an internal commitment you've made.
That initial concept is definitely the hook, isn't it? It's not just find clothes that look nice. It's about finding clothes that actually mirror some kind of shift you're going through, mental, emotional, maybe spiritual, physical.
Exactly.
It takes this abstract thing, self-improvement, and makes it wearable.
Mm-hmm. And they actually call their products transformational clothing, not just apparel. The stated goal, apparently, is for these pieces to become symbols, symbols of inner strength. They're explicitly designed to empower whoever's wearing them.
So it moves clothing beyond just, looking good.
Right. It gives it a different role, almost like a behavioral anchor.
Okay, let's try and nail down the identity piece. BKLEO. It's not just initials, is it?
No, it's an acronym. Stands for courage, authenticity, and purpose.
Wow, okay. So that's pretty direct.
Very direct. They're clearly marketing towards people who feel like they're on the verge of something, stepping into their power, as they put it.
And that kind of positioning, that intentionality, it lifts it out of just being another fashion label, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They frame it deliberately as a movement.
Hmm.
Their vision, based on what we've read, is building this global community. A tribe, you could say, people wearing their stories, supporting each other. The impact they're aiming for is mindset, much more than just like selling shirts.
So if that's the big idea, the mission, how do they actually make sure the clothing does something? How does it become a catalyst, not just, the expensive merch with nice words?
That is the critical question, isn't it? And it seems they lean heavily into the intention behind the design. The sources really draw a line in the sand here. They say this clothing isn't based on trends, it's soul-based.
Soul-based. What does that translate to in practice?
Well, it seems to require a totally different approach to design, focusing on meaning, maybe longevity, rather than just what's fashionable this season.
Okay, this feels like a good point to bring in a bit of the psychology behind this.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about more than just feeling good, right? There's a claim of actual influence here.
There is. And to understand how a shirt might, influence a big life decision, you probably need to look at something called enclothed cognition.
Enclosed cognition. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the idea that clothes have a systematic influence on the wearer's psychological processes, not just how you look to others, but how you think and feel yourself.
So it's about the symbolic meaning we attach to the clothes.
Exactly. It's the symbolism. If you truly believe that this shirt is your growth uniform, your brain actually starts to kind of align your behavior with that symbol.
Huh. So if I put on something that I've decided means I am focused, my brain might actually start prioritizing focus just because I'm wearing the uniform for it.
That's the principle. Research suggests it can affect attention, how you perform on tasks, even your confidence levels. And BKLEO seems to be really tapping into this, maximizing it by using very specific, visible words, affirmations.
Right. They're turning the clothes into these constant nonverbal reminders, like self-coaching tools you wear.
And this is where it gets quite tactical in their designs. We saw those examples, didn't we?
Yeah, the hoodie's saying evolve daily, or a t-shirt with move with purpose. These aren't just random slogans thrown on fabric. They feel very intentional. They're meant to function as daily affirmations.
Which brings us to maybe a second psychological idea at play here, self-affirmation theory.
Okay.
So when you wear something that literally states a core value or a goal you hold, like courage, authenticity, purpose, you're constantly reinforcing that part of your identity. It can actually reduce that internal conflict, that cognitive dissonance between who you are right now and who you're striving to be. The clothing becomes a sort of commitment device.
That raises a question, though. Is the power really in the words themselves, the visible text, or is it more about the belief in the investment someone makes when they choose that piece? Like, I'm buying this because it represents change for me.
I think it's likely both, but the belief system seems paramount. The brand talks a lot about intention in every detail, fabrics, colors, even saying the clothes carry a specific energy.
Hmm.
What they're selling, fundamentally, is the belief that the garment is a tool. And when you, as a customer, invest money and emotion into that belief, you validate it for yourself. It makes the affirmation potentially work harder.
Got it. So if I buy that Built to Rise shirt and I tell myself this is my perseverance uniform, I'm kind of setting up a self-fulfilling prophecy every time I wear it.
Exactly. It's a very literal way of doing what the brand suggests,
Right.
putting on a mindset.
It becomes a deliberate trigger, maybe?
That seems to be the idea. The sources suggest that in moments of, say, self-doubt, just feeling the fabric or seeing the words in the mirror acts as a nudge, a reminder of the commitment you made.
The old checkpoint.
Yeah, a checkpoint on your journey, whatever that journey is.
Okay, so this clearly goes way beyond just buying clothes. The brand itself says it provides a lifestyle experience. It's meant to motivate and inspire. How do they cultivate that after the purchase?
Well, that seems to be where the community part really kicks in. They're very clear. Our clothing is a means, not an end. They seem to be selling belonging just as much as self-improvement.
Ah, right. So wearing the brand signals something to others.
It signals that you're part of this group that's focused on self-elevation. And that adds a whole other layer, doesn't it? Social accountability, maybe, shared identity.
We've definitely seen brands use products to build tribes before,
Yeah.
but here the tribe identity is very specific. I am someone who is actively working on myself. I'm growing.
Precisely.
And the sources, they do give some pretty powerful examples of impact. It's not just, I felt good wearing this. There are anecdotes suggesting the clothing actually influenced major life choices, real decisions.
Yes, and this is where you can really see that enclothed cognition idea potentially playing out. Think about that young professional mentioned. They apparently credited wearing the clothes with giving them the courage to leave a toxic job, to actually pursue a dream.
Wow.
The clothing in that narrative served as the external symbol of the inner courage they needed, but maybe hadn't fully accessed yet.
That's a significant claim. It's like the t-shirt was a temporary holding place for that courage, like scaffolding for building that new identity.
That's a great way to put it, scaffolding. Or think about the other story, the single mom.
Right, wearing the Built to Rise hoodie for her morning runs.
Yeah. For her, it wasn't just sportswear. It was described as this physical and mental reminder, I am unstoppable. The item gets woven into the habit, the ritual of self-improvement. It becomes the uniform for her own personal movement.
So the brand seems to be really leveraging these core values. They talk about empowerment, authenticity, transformation, not just in slogans, but by designing things that almost force you to confront and reaffirm those values when you get dressed.
And it seems to extend to the idea that growth isn't always, straightforward. It's messy. The clothing acknowledges the transformation is ongoing. You don't buy it because you're finished, because you have arrived.
You buy it because you're in the process. You're rising.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. We've looked at a brand that's positioning clothing as essentially an investment in your mindset. They're taking these concepts, transformation, empowerment, moving them out of maybe the self-help aisle and putting them right onto your sleeve, making it visible, making it a daily thing.
Yeah, and the synthesis seems pretty clear. The effectiveness, if it works, seems to rely on tapping into these known psychological principles. Enclothed cognition, self-affirmation theory. They appear to be successfully translating that internal desire for change into an external, deliberate signal.
And that external signal then feeds back and reinforces the internal shift in identity.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It creates a loop.
So, if you're listening and you're looking for ways to maybe reinforce your own journey, fitness, career, mental resilience, whatever it is, this type of clothing aims to make getting dressed an act of intentional affirmation.
And potentially connects you with others on a similar path, that global tribe idea, elevating mindset through style.
Right.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe building on this connection between what's on the outside and what's going on inside. If DKLEO's whole mission is to outfit the mindset, think about your own wardrobe right now. How much of what you already own, what you might wear today, already acts as a symbol for you, a symbol of your growth, your purpose, the person you're trying to become, even if it doesn't have words printed on it. What story are your clothes telling about your transformation?